And as the Orioles close out this 2017 season, a bit of news off the field as Richie Bancells this morning announced that he is retiring. Richie, 30 years as the Orioles head athletic trainer and 41 years in the Orioles organization. He's been the past president of the Baseball Athletic Trainers Society. In 2008, inducted into the Maryland Athletic Trainers Hall of Fame. And in 2011, inducted into the Orioles Hall of Fame as the Herb Armstrong Award winner. And that was a special day. He was inducted along with Mike Bordick. They threw out the ceremonial first pitches. And recently, our colleague Gary Thorne spoke with Richie about his career.
The key is I love what I do. That's basically it. I enjoy what I do. I love coming here every day and helping the players best I can.
All right, I'm going to ask you, there are some things I've always wondered about. You get put in a tough position by the very nature of who you are. You got management wants to know things about the players. Players want to know things about themselves. Maybe they don't want management to know. What are the rules there that trainers live by?
Well, the rule I've always lived by in terms of information going to management about a player is if it will affect them on the field or affect the team on the field or any injury like that, then that will be disclosed. Management will know. I tell the player that. One of my policies has always been with the player, whatever I'm telling them, I also tell management. So it's always the same information. Nothing's ever. Now, obviously, there is a lot of confidential things that I will take to my grave about players that I tell management that's between the player and myself.
Now, is that your decision? I mean, I'm sure the Trainers Association gives you got guidelines and outlines and all that, right?
Yeah, there are ethical guidelines, but that's kind of been sort of my guidelines that I've kind of lived by, and it seems to have worked for me.
Now, also on the doctor side of it, you also got a line you can't cross there. You're a trainer, not a doctor, and you got to stay on that side of it, I guess. How does that work?
Some of the biggest mistakes I've seen athletic trainers do is forget who they are and what they are and their limitations. And one of the things is as simple as this. We don't really diagnose injuries. We evaluate them to the point that we think they need to be seen by a doctor, and then we get them to the right people.
What's the most important thing you do for a manager?
I think give him the information on the health of the ball club every day. We communicate probably more so about pitching staff and the bullpen more than anything. 85% of what I do has to do with the pitching staff.
How much has that changed over the years as far as the nature of the injuries, the amount of them? I mean, what have you seen transpire over the years?
Well, you know what? It's funny because, Gary, sometimes people tell me, gosh, you seem busier now than you ever have been. And it really doesn't feel that way. It seems to me like it's always been the same. So from that regard, I don't think things have changed a whole lot. What's changed is probably the technology and the things that we have to evaluate injuries, diagnose them, and treat them.
Coming into the business, young man, going to college, whatever, looking at this, what do you say?
I don't know. I don't know what to say. In fact, it's funny. I just had a couple of young students think about going into this business, and I didn't know whether to discourage them or encourage them. But no, it's one of the things you have to understand is you gotta put in the hours. I mean, there is no time clock to this. You gotta love it. You gotta have a passion for it. Put the hours into it. I've never watched the clock one day on this job. I've always just done the job and gone home after that.
All right. I'll ask you a last question that takes you back to the beginning. Why a trainer for you?
Because my curveball failed me in college.
Didn't it all of us?
Yeah, that's basically what happened. Probably took the same route as a lot of athletic trainers. I was an athlete. I was fortunate enough that I was a baseball player in high school and a little bit in college. Injured, and just got interested in how they did the therapy in that. Along with that, when I went to college, I'd always had an interest in anatomy and how the body worked in that. So it just kind of fell in place for me.